I've seen a lot of wild things in this neighborhood, but I never thought I'd be getting a call that a man dressed like a cop had my daughter at gunpoint, on our own road, in front of our own land. The worst part? It wasn't even a real cop. It was some HOA enforcer who had let a little power go way too far to his head. The kind of guy who thinks a knockoff badge and a fake belt make him judge, jury, and executioner. He pulled a weapon on my daughter, standing there calm as a storm before the flood, because what he didn't know, what no one in that crooked HOA knew, was that my daughter wasn't just some scared civilian. She trains Navy SEALs. And by the time this clown figured that out, it was already too late. So if you're wondering how an HOA thug ended up disarmed, disgraced, and dismantled in front of half the county, you're about to hear the story that made it all unravel. Let's rewind to how this all started. On a road I paid to build, on land I own, and on a morning when they picked the wrong daughter to threaten. It started when the HOA installed a bogus checkpoint just outside my private drive, claiming they needed to secure the community perimeter. The thing is, I live on a ranch miles past the development line. I'm not even in their jurisdiction. But that didn't stop them. The new officer they'd hired, some guy named Rick with a badge patch that looked fresh off Etsy, began stopping vehicles. Mostly to harass, sometimes to threaten, and apparently to act like he ran the county. My daughter, Lena, had returned home from deployment last month. She likes to stay in shape, so she runs the perimeter trail daily, sometimes armed, always alert. She has more discipline in one breath than this Rick guy's ever had in his life. One afternoon, she jogged past the fake checkpoint. Rick flagged her down. She didn't stop. That's when the fines began. They mailed us a civil citation from the HOA for unauthorized perimeter breach. I laughed so hard I nearly choked. My land isn't part of the HOA. I've never signed their charter. They had no legal right to ticket me for breathing on my own soil. I sent the citation back with a bright red note that said, "Not your jurisdiction. Return to Clown College." That's when things escalated. Security footage showed Rick loitering near our gate. My neighbors said he was asking around about our family, especially Lena. Then one morning, Lena didn't come back from her run on time. I got the call from our neighbor, Jace. "You need to come quick," he said. "That fake cop's got your daughter at gunpoint out on County Route 8. I drove like the devil was chasing me. When I arrived, it felt like a scene out of a bad action movie. Rick stood in the middle of the road, arm outstretched, holding a pistol straight at Lena. She wasn't flinching. Not even blinking. Behind them, 4 HOA patrol SUVs had blocked both lanes like they were setting up for an ambush. The other officers, none of them sworn law enforcement, stood tense, unsure. One of them was actually recording with a phone. Idiots. "Drop the gun," I shouted, getting out of my truck, arms up but boiling inside. "She's trespassing on HOA property." Rick barked, eyes wild. "This is federal easement land," I snapped. "And she's my daughter. You're about to make a mistake that'll echo in courtrooms for the rest of your pathetic life." He didn't move. "And Lena?" She calmly said, "Sir, I suggest you put that weapon down before I take it from you." Rick sneered. "You? Take me down?" "Yeah, right? Last chance," she said. And then it happened. In one fluid motion, Lena sidestepped, gripped the gun arm, twisted it behind Rick's back, and brought him to his knees, all without drawing her own sidearm. The gun hit the pavement. The other HOA goons? Frozen. She whispered something in his ear. Rick turned white. He didn't know it yet, but she just quoted the UCMJ code for impersonating federal law enforcement. And she knew exactly how to file it. That night, we made a few calls. One to the county sheriff, who I served with in Afghanistan. One to the JAG office, where Lena had some pull from her training division. And one to the local news, who loved nothing more than exposing crooked HOA drama. The next morning, Rick's face was all over the internet. Fake officer pulls gun on veteran Navy SEAL instructor. You can guess the comments. Turns out, HOA leadership had knowingly hired him despite multiple complaints from previous jobs. They ignored every red flag because he was assertive. The county issued an immediate cease and desist on all HOA patrol operations. A week later, we hosted a community meeting at the VFW hall. Lena stood at the podium, clean and composed, laying out what had happened and how close it came to disaster. Neighbors were stunned. Turns out HOA Karen, the president, had authorized those patrols without any legal advice. And worse? She'd quietly funneled funds from member dues to cover their uniforms and firearms training. Except the training never happened. The board voted her out unanimously. Rick was arrested for impersonating an officer and assault with a deadly weapon. And Lena? She was asked if she'd consider running for the HOA board herself. She laughed. "We don't live under that HOA," she said. "We just ended it. Now the road is clear. No fake checkpoints. No power-hungry posers playing soldier. Just my daughter running the land she helped protect with peace in her step and a community that now knows who really had their back." Sometimes the strongest people don't wear medals on their chest. They wear calm like armor. Rick mistook her calm for fear. He didn't know that stillness is the most dangerous part of a trained warrior. And while HOA Karen is still licking her wounds, Lena's name has become something of a local legend. People still ask her, "Did you really take him down with one move?" She just smiles. The story spread so wide, nearby HOAs started reviewing their entire structure. One even hired an actual legal consultant. Justice wasn't just served. It was televised. So here's my advice. If you're in an HOA that's gone rogue, don't just roll over. Document, challenge, and stand your ground, especially if your ground is legally yours. And if someone ever tries to pull a gun on your daughter, pray she's been trained by the best. Or better yet, is the one doing the training? Lena still jogs that same road. Same routine. Same calm confidence. No checkpoint. No fake enforcers. Just a peaceful horizon. The irony? The sign still stands on the edge of our land. Private property. Military on site. Rick should have read that. Maybe he would have kept the safety on. What would you have done in this situation? Comment below, justice served if you made it to the end. Like if you've ever dealt with a fake authority figure. And subscribe for more real stories that expose the wild side of HOA power trips. Because sometimes the law isn't just written on paper. Sometimes it stands calmly with its hands behind its back, waiting for the moment you mess up. And when that moment comes, justice doesn't knock. It steps forward, silent, swift, and unstoppable.